Welcome. This is No Limits and I'm Sara McQueenie. This is the place where people with disabilities can be petulant, can be perfect, but never patronised. Now tonight's theme is women with disabilities that have violence perpetrated against them and how this happens in a whole gamut of areas across all sectors and with all people. Tonight I'm going to be talking to one of the first people I'm going to be talking to is Keran Howe. She's the Executive Officer of Victorian Women's with Disabilities Network. Welcome, Keran.
Hi, Sara.
How are you?
Very well.
That's good. It's good to have you here. Now, you guys have been strongly involved in looking at this issue of violence with women with disabilities.
Yes,
we
have.
Please share some of those stories.
Sure. Well, our network is a network of women with disabilities. So we have a board of women with disabilities and we're concerned with issues for women with disabilities. And one of the issues that we found that is a really significant concern that hasn't been picked up by other services, by other advocacy services for disability, and also within the general family violence area, is violence against women with disabilities. So we've made that one of our priorities to address. Of course, we think that it needs to stop, that violence against women with disabilities isn't on, and it needs to be something that everybody knows about, because often people think, oh no, surely not, people wouldn't hurt women with disabilities. So we have an attitude of people seeing disability in general as something that needs to be protected, but at the same time it may be carers that are in fact perpetrating violence.
And it's not necessarily, even though violence may be perpetrated specifically to a person because of their disability, it's not necessarily a disability service issue, is it? It's a human rights issue.
Well, absolutely. And we know that violence against women in general is quite an issue, and 1 in 4, 1 in 3 women can experience violence. But in fact, more women with disabilities experience violence than other women generally in the community. And yes, it's a human rights issue. It just shouldn't happen to anyone.
And is violence in itself, or perpetration of, about power? Is that what it is?
Yes, it is.
Can it happen out of frustration? Can it happen out of anger? Or is it predominantly power?
Well, it's predominantly power. It's about control and it's about dominance. And so all of the ways that people find to control someone are used. And that might be taking away somebody's cane, over-medicating someone who's dependent on medication, under-medicating. It can be putting someone in a too hot bath deliberately, leaving someone in bed that's dependent on the carer to get out of bed. All of those things are the sorts of violence that you see, particularly for women with disabilities.
Yeah. And as you're talking, I'm thinking there has to be not only education at a grassroots level for people with disabilities to do with self-esteem and boundaries and ability to say no and all that kind of thing, because it's not just sexual violence we're talking about either. It's a whole gamut of violence, isn't it?
Yes, and it can be about saying no, but it's also sometimes about knowing what services are out there and what supports are out there to help you get out of that situation. And
also then teaching services about what other services are out there. And is that where you guys come in as far as a resource on that level?
Yeah, well, we're really intent on letting both family violence services know that women with disabilities should be part of their core business.
Absolutely.
That services need to be accessible.
Have they not been part of their core business?
No, they haven't. And I think what happens is women fall between the gaps between the disability service sector and the family violence or domestic violence services. So refuges are not accessible. They ring up the disability service and say, hey, we've got a woman with a disability who needs some help.
And they go, we don't have accommodation.
Disability says, that's not our business. Yeah, that's yours. So, you know, women fall between the gaps and don't get a service from either. Now, I think it's getting a bit better. I think there are services.
At least the dialogue's starting to happen as well, though, and with you guys here. So that's excellent.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, that's okay. Look, I think our business is to highlight the issue both to government and to other services, and also we advocate for better information for women with disabilities, better preventative information, you know, learning about healthy relationships and what's a healthy relationship and what's a not healthy relationship. It's really important for all women.
So if you just want to give the details in relation to your network and who they can contact?
There are services, the Women's Domestic Violence Crisis Line, it's a 24-hour line, and you might like to put that number up on at the end of the program.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and in terms of outreach and access to counselling services, the Domestic Violence Resource Centre has also got the number.
You are a wealth of information, young lady. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And everyone just needs to know that violence is a no-go zone in any shape or form. We'll be right back.